In a world where Triple H has given us the epitome of wrestling terrorism with Jey Uso versus Logan fucking Paul and feeding Gunther to Pat McAfee, I know one person has my back, and that person is Meiko Satomura, one of the best in the game for the past 3 decades. It doesn't matter if it was Gaia, Sendai, WWE, whatever the fuck, Meiko Satomura was that motherfucker. She just had her final match at the self-titled event hosted by Sendai Girls called Satomura Meiko The Final, and the match consisted of teaming with Manami, taking on Aja Kong and Chihiro Hashimoto in an absolutely stellar way to cap off her amazing career. What can that argue that Meiko Satomura, not only as a booker but also as a talent, has a one-of-a-kind ability to simply never miss. It doesn't matter who she's going up against, she has somehow found a way to make not only herself look good, but make her opponents look good in the process. And it's very clear, just by looking at her body of work, that she has a vision of what she wanted the next generation of women's wrestling to be. She wants to bring back that energy of the AJW days, of the era she was from. Of course, you could tell that she isn't really a big fan. Not saying that it's inherently wrong, but she wants to push for more of the pure wrestling style when it comes to Joshi. Not so much idol aspect of everything, right? And you see that a lot when it comes to her in-ring work. I'll be honest too. I got introduced to Meiko Satomura when she signed to NXT UK. And unfortunately, that was during the pandemic. And although she got a good crop of talent to face, and then she eventually got to have a little bit of a stint in the normal NXT brand. Would that be right? Normal NXT? Whatever. But through that, and enjoying her work there, I got open to this whole other world with her matches, especially when it came to seeing stuff on Twitter. Of course, I got recommended a lot of the classics, right? Her matches with Manami Toyota, Akira Hokuto, with Io Shirai in Stardom. And through those examples alone, you can see just how special of a talent she was. And it's crazy to me that even through all of these accomplishments and this resume that she's been able to put out, she remains a very underappreciated wrestler, primarily in the West. I know here it's dominated a lot by AW OnlyFans and WWE OnlyFans, and it's fine if you want to just mostly consume those products, but I always say expand your horizons and just watch wrestling, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to watch those products all the time. You don't have to, like, if it hurts your soul that much to turn your back on a company, like, I'm not even saying turn your back on whatever you watch, but, like, let's say right now, right, WWE, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with this, is in a down period. It feels like Triple H is kind of burnt out creatively, but because of that, not only could I now invest myself a little bit more in like AEW or watching some more New Japan or Noah, whatever it may be, right? Instead of feeling negative all the time about what I'm watching, I can turn my attention to other stuff, but also watching the thing that I want to watch. It's because, you know, this is a crazy concept, but you can watch multiple things at the same time. I've mentioned this before, but I started watching New Japan during the pandemic in 2020. My first ever show was the Summer Struggle in Jingu, and one of my biggest regrets, even though I got to watch a good portion of their careers, I wish I was there to watch Prime Naito and Prime Tanahashi, especially because I had a friend back in the ye old Google Plus days. I had a friend who was actually watching New Japan at the time. I'm not sure how easy that was back in 2016. 2017, but I never started watching New Japan until 2020. Although yes, I have New Japan World and I have Wrestle Universe and I can watch all this stuff on demand, there's a special connection that you could get. You get to experience that in the moment. And I could watch Naito Kenny Omega and be like, oh, that match was insane. But it also does kind of hurt a little bit knowing that I could have been there to see that as it happened. Always appreciate the wrestlers that you have right now and always try to expand your horizons. And if you see a wrestler that you like in a different company, check out their matches. And I've seen a lot of people, when it comes to the Mariah May argument, ask stuff like, who does Mariah May wrestle like in WWE? You know, you don't have to make comparisons because comparisons are probably the worst thing you can do. Instead of comparing her to Liv Morgan or Tiffany Stratton How about you just go out of your way and watch a Mariah May match, so then you can watch Mariah May wrestle like Mariah May. And don't try to limit yourself, especially when it comes to enjoying something like wrestling, which is such a special thing, but it's also such a finite thing. The story of this match, of this retirement match, couldn't have gone any more perfectly. You had the next generation in Manami teaming up with the torchbearer Meiko Satomura, taking on a long-time rival of Meiko and Aja Kong. And then one could argue the next generation in terms of the wrestler that Aja Kong was in Chihiro Hashimoto, Big Hash. And I've been pretty vocal about my love for beast-ass motherfuckers. And Aja Kong, Chihiro Hashimoto as a tag team, that is the epitome of beast mode. Then after that match, we got a 5-on-2 handicap just to give Meiko one more send-off. That ended in a 5-minute time limit draw, and it started out in probably the funniest way possible. And after that was said and done, Meiko Satomura gave her final bow and was covered in red streamers for the last time. So I'm glad that Meiko got to go out in her own way, and she got to go out on her own show how she wanted to. And then she got all this love, not only from the audience, not only from the IWC, whoever the fuck was watching, but also from all the wrestlers. And it was cool as fuck that WWE let their jits say what they wanted to say too, and send flowers. That right there, that's one of the reasons why there's nothing like pro wrestling. And I mentioned this in the Stardom video, and this right here, this is one of those reasons why it's such a beautiful thing.
Let's get some pussy tonight.